Now let's settle for some details. The growing hostility between Israel and Palestine following a large-scale attack by Palestinian militant groups Hamas has caused a wide range of reactions from other African countries. Leaders on the continent are issuing statements that border on principles, sympathy and diplomatic pragmatism. Muslims in South Africa are making their voices heard on the Israel-Hamas war. Here's a report by Africa News. Now, polls have just closed in Liberia as the nation decides whether to retain former footballer George Weah as president or select one of the 19 contesting him for the seat. Voting, however, delayed in parts of Sinoe Country when ballot papers drowned in the creek whilst being transported by electoral supervisors. When our team got there around 2 p.m. local time, electors were hanging around polling station in anticipation of the election. Here's Nanaya Ojima, who is in Liberia. Here's his report for you.
Here in Liberia, that's the voting precinct, which has more than 3 polling stations. As you can see, 4 hours into the election, the queues are yet to reduce. A lot of people queuing, trying to get access to the polling station and cast their ballots in favor of their preferred candidates. Mind you, there are 20 people in this race, 20 people contesting for the election. Each person within the queue has to cast 3 different ballots, one for the presidential, another one for the Senate, and the last one for a representative. That is how their election system is. I have with me some of the people here. As you can see, there are some security people here as well. This area has 1 policeman, 1 immigration officer, and I'm seeing another security personnel there. So at least 3 security people here, and things so far, according to the reports that I've gathered here, things here have been very calm. The ECOWAS Observer Mission is still here in Monrovia, going through the different polling stations, making their own assertions. Mind you, there are 120 observers from ECOWAS dotted across the country, going through the various counties in Liberia, finding out what is happening and reporting to the ECOWAS Command Center. So I would want to speak to some of the people who have been in the queue for some time, let them share their thoughts with us. Chief, hello.
Yeah, how are you?
For how long have you been in this queue?
Me?
Yeah.
1 hour now.
About an hour? About an hour?
For an hour? I don't understand what you say.
For how long have you been in this queue?
This is 1 hour now.
For 1 hour? Yeah. Wow. So it means that you came late?
Yeah, I'm not coming soon. That make it. I'm not coming soon, but you're going okay. Everything okay.
Have you found your name on the list?
Yes, I found my name. Yes.
All right.
I found my name.
All right. Thank you very much. So they have a very interesting system. The whole of the album is pasted in front of the polling station. So you go through the album, look for your name, and if you're able to find your name there, it directs you to where you're supposed to vote. So it's easier for the polling officials to find your name on the register, so that you can take your ballot paper and do the casting. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine.
For how long have you been in this queue?
I find 9.
Since 9?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
It looks like it's a very, very long queue.
Yeah.
You're still willing to wait?
Yes. I want to vote.
Okay. So she wants to vote. So since 9 a.m., she's been in the queue and still waiting to get to her turn to vote. So I have with me one of the officials or the polling. You are
Umariba. I'm a poll washer.
Okay. For which party?
For Dr. Moniba.
Okay.
Yeah.
So far, how do you see the process?
Everything is cool. Since this morning, we have been here, and it is going on well. There's no violence taking place for this polling center, and I'm grateful to NEG for the strategy they have put in place in order to make the election go perfect. And so far, I can say for this center, everything is okay. Everybody is working according to their normal, according to their tax. So thanks to see you people here And thank you very much for the work.
So he is a poll watcher, and in Ghana, these are the people we refer to as party agents. Young man, another poll watcher. How is the process so far for you?
Okay, everything going on smooth. So we thank God, thank you, because no noise, no foul, everything okay. Putting everything in control.
Everything under control?
Yes.
All right, sir. So you're here to cast your ballot?
Yes, I've already cast my ballot this morning. I enjoyed had a netted decision, no violence, everything going normal. So one of voter victory, one round.
How difficult was it for you to get access to the polling station?
I will not take me difficult because the people I love it. The what I do it for.
How long did you spend the queue?
Spend just 30 minutes. I'll finish on my own.
It means you came early?
Yes, I came some morning.
All right. Thank you very much. So these are the opinions of people here in Monrovia, and it's one of the polling stations. It's within the main market here in Monrovia. For Joy News, my name is Nana Yaojima.
Right, so this is your election headquarters, and we are live beyond the borders of Ghana. Let me take you now live to Monrovia. Nana Yaojima is with our foreign desk, and he is covering the election for us. Nana, you're welcome. It must have been a long day for you. How is things shaping up ahead of the counting and possible declaration of results?
Yes, it's been a very tiring day here in Monrovia, Liberia. Now, I am at the Matilda Newport Senior High School, and this is one of the precincts, the polling precincts within Monrovia. So this particular place I stand here is one of the polling stations, and not long ago, the voting process ended. When I got here before 6 p.m. or at 6 p.m., there were still some people within the queue. So per the electoral regulations here in Liberia, the people within the queue were given the opportunity to cast their ballots. So about 5 minutes ago, the last person did cast the ballot, and as you can see, the electoral office.
So now let me come to you again. You know, Liberia is coming out of a civil war 2 decades ago, actually, to be precise, and the scars is so clear on their minds. So going into the election, the issue of the economy and security for the Liberian was quite, heavy on the minds of the people who went out today to vote. Did you get a sense that that influenced the way they voted today? So we're trying to re-establish contact with our correspondent, Sinoe Country, who is covering the Liberia election live for us from Monrovia. As you can see on your shots, voting ended some few hours ago. They are now in the process of sorting out, and then obviously we'll start the process of counting. This clearly is the most important part of any election, because this is where vigilance becomes very key. And Sinoe Country has been covering the election for us since morning, and he is now witnessing the sorting and the counting. Again, let me refresh your memory. About 2.5 people went out to vote in Liberia's election. 19 people, together with President George Weah. These are the individuals who have put themselves out for election, and 18 out of the 90, they are bidding to unseat George Weah, who is contesting for the second term. And the claim is that he's not done enough, and that's the reason why the former vice president during the presidency of Johnson Sirleaf, 78-year-old man, has put himself out to contest George Weah. Let me bring in again Sinoe Country, who is still in Monrovia covering this election. Sinoe, so I asked you about the economy and security, because these were key issues ahead of the voting today. Did you get a sense that those may have influenced the way people voted today?
Exactly. Since I came to town, these are the issues that people are pointing to. These are the issues they believe should influence whoever wants to vote in this election. And this morning, going through the various polling stations and the conversations that were ongoing within this polling station, it looks like these issues will influence their ballots. And the people are sharply divided between the first the two of the political parties that are in race. according to them, these two are the parties that have been in power, and they are able to compare their track record. Now, the CDC, which is currently in power, that's George Weah's political party. Some people believe that the CDC, since they came to power, there's been a reduction in the crime rate in Liberia. Some say that the CDC has been able to keep the streets of Liberia, Monrovia to be precise, very, very calm and safe for people to, go through the streets. They admit that there are still some challenges when it comes to security, but they believe that in the near future, if Georgia is given the opportunity, he can sanitize the situation. The critics of Georgia, who are members of the Unity Party or who believe the Unity Party, led by Mr. Joseph Boakai, should be given the opportunity to say, Georgia, for instance, they say that the situation of the police service is very bad in Liberia. According to the information that have been taken up, the police lack the necessary logistics to, protect the people here in Liberia.
Okay.
Some are also claiming that there are instances that the police are not paid for months, and this is affecting the delivery of the police service. So for that reason, they believe that Georgia doesn't deserve to have another tenure as president of Liberia. So these are the issues that a lot of people considered before going to the polls today.
Right. So now let's talk about the late arrival of some voting materials in some of the polling centers that you visited. Does that suggest that voting is still ongoing in these areas?
The last time I checked, areas like Sinoe is still yet to get polling materials or election materials for the election to happen in this area. The information that I gathered earlier is that the creek and the voting materials were drowned in a creek in Sinoe district. So the Sinoe Country. So it will be very difficult for Sinoe to once again get these materials for another election today. The information that I pick is that the EC is scheduled to grant an interview on this situation or on this matter. But the last time I established contact at the headquarters of the National Electoral Commission, they told me that they are making efforts to ensure that these areas get to vote. Aside the Sinoe County incident, there are other issues where I'm learning from some of the people that are on the ground.
And in this, you are referring to the incident where they had their voting materials drowned. Is that what you are referring to?
So that is one incident. There are two different incidents where voting materials were affected. The other one had the materials wet by rain this morning because the truck that was transporting these materials to the polling station got stuck in mud. They are very hard to reach areas in Liberia, and these are areas that are very muddy. And Liberia is still within the rainy season, and there are instances that it could rain throughout the day. Many people are very, very delighted that today the rains didn't come because it was expectant, and these were some of the issues that the ECOWAS was worried about, that rain. So, unfortunately for the people in the Grisby Farms area of Liberia, when the vehicle transporting the materials got stuck in the mud, unfortunately the rains came down and it affected the materials. And for that matter, some of the materials got wet. The last time I established contact with some of our people there, and they tell me the EC was planning to dry all the materials under the sun. And if possible, if they are able to get them dried, the election will begin. But unfortunately, before coming on air, I'm learning that wasn't possible. So these areas, we don't know what the EC will do about the areas that couldn't get the opportunity to vote because of some unforeseen circumstances.
And the local electoral officers are yet to tell you and the observers what they intend doing about these isolated issues that you've just enumerated.
Exactly. What these people are telling us is that they are expecting the National Electoral Commission to give out the way forward. But unfortunately, attempts to get National Electoral Commission this evening to update us on the situation has proving futile. But earlier, when we spoke to them, they told us that they are working on it, and they believe that today they will be able to resolve issues and get the people to vote. These areas we are talking about are hard-to-reach areas. For instance, in the Sinoe, the Sinoe area, the information I have picked so far is that some of the observers in these areas had to fly in helicopters before they could get access to the Sinoe Country in Liberia. So these are very hard to reach areas.
But generally, you would say that there's been comportment. There are no security concerns that the Liberians should be worried about, despite all these challenges that we are reporting in some of the areas.
Exactly, Elton. I'm coming out of the situation room of the ECOWAS, where all of the observers of ECOWAS, bring in their primary data to be processed into information for some of us journalists here reporting on the election. And so far, what I've been able to pick from the ECOWAS situation room and other situation rooms like the fly situation room and also the women's situation room here in Liberia is that generally the election has been incident-free. There are, one or two issues that were quickly resolved by the security agencies. But so far, they've not been able to report any security threats in the various polling stations here in Liberia. And one thing that we must commend the security agencies for is that they were able to put all of the agencies here together. Even though before the election there were complaints about the number of security personnel within Liberia, they were able to put all of them together and position them in almost every polling station here in Liberia. So far, it's been very, very calm within the various polling stations in Liberia.
I guess it will be too early for me to ask about general assessments as per the perspective of the observers and, of course, the contestants who are contesting in this election in Liberia. But what are they saying now from the start of voting up until now? What is their assessment of how the thing has panned out? And of course, if I'm also hearing from the contestants contesting the presidential and of course the senatorial elections.
Just before we came on air, I spoke with the leadership of ECOWAS here in Liberia. I spoke to Professor Atahiru Jega, who is leading the ECOWAS team here in Liberia, and he is excited about the turnout so far. He believes that per the report that ECOWAS has received, and the election has so far been incident-free. I also spoke with others within the other observers, and they have also expressed satisfaction at what has been happening so far within Liberia. The AU team is on the ground. We understand that there are other observer missions all within Liberia. There's one observer mission that's sponsored by the USAID. They are all within Liberia. Being on the ground, I've counted more than 5 observer missions on the ground. And also with the Liberia Churches Association also have representatives within the various polling stations. The Liberia Bar also have their own observers on the ground, independent observers, to also help ensure that the situation or the election is very credible here in Liberia.
Now, let me ask you a final question before I let you go so that you can concentrate on the job at hand. In Ghana, we know that at this stage, it is the sorting, and then that will be followed by the counting. And then the Ghana's electoral officer is a returning officer for the presidential election. Walk us through the process for Liberia before we know the president-elect for this country.
It's almost the same process. We have different leaders when it comes to the polling stations, and already where I am now, the officer here is now closing the ballot papers, the ballot boxes, and making efforts to start the counting. So they count from here, and it continues to they call it the preference. It continues to the preference. They put it together until it gets to the National Electoral Commission. Now, per the calendar, the National Electoral Commission will make the final declaration on the 21st of this month. So until then, there is no official result for the election. All that we will have out there are provisional results.
All right, thank you very much, Nana Ojima. 21st of September, we'll get to know the president-elect of Liberia. That's 11 clear days from today. But before the election today, Nana Ojima was on the streets of Monrovia, engaging the people on what will influence their choice of president. Take a listen.
The busy Randall Street in Monrovia is waking up to its usual congestion and chaos. Like many parts of Africa, these traders have taken to the pavements, displaying their wares for sale. Within the group are a small number of traders clad in colors of the Unity Party. Through music and dance, they show their allegiance to the opposition leader, Joseph Boakai. For them, the ruling party is struggling with corruption and the economy, hence the need to give way to the opposition.
By the present government, we have seen things are not working the way he promised the Liberian people to change their lives, but we are seeing things have become very difficult for people. The common Liberian people that were happy before with this government, they themselves have felt the suffering that the government have brought. They are only there for themselves. They are not there for the people. So the rescue team that is led by Waka, we believe that he got the ingenuity to change the country around. This is the reason why we choose to follow him.
Actually, I'm a former citizen. We are going to support Joe Braga because he's someone who has integrity. We're going to vote on Joe Braga because he's someone who has vision. We can rescue this country. That one of the main reasons we're going to vote Joe Braga as the next president of the Liberia.
If issue have to do with President Weah, President Weah one state that he is not a politician. The Liberian people force it, surrounding force it to become president. So for I can't believe President Weah because the man is not a politician. They don't know the job. So that's the reason why we decided to vote him out. President Weah messed the country out. There's no job, there's no company, nothing going. We are doing business, no buying. We're complaining, no buying.
On the same Randall Street, many hold contrary opinion on the choice of candidates. According to these people, challenges in the economy is a global phenomenon. They believe there is need for a second term for the CDC.
Wow, for me, from the situation surrounding the current government, for me, I see there's a reason why he succeed the second term. Because we see a lot of development, a lot of opportunity, a lot of environment. For the past government, we have been doing normal business here. People have been running, have been chasing us. But since we get into the government, we have been peaceful and free to do our normal business. So for which I'm seeing, it will better get the second term.
I'm voting for the best candidate ever.
Which one is that?
Country Giant. The pride of Africa, the black diamond from Liberia. I'm going to vote for on Tuesday. Bagugbe, president-elect again for the second term, George Manuel Weah.
Where are they coming to change? Why did they not change? They want to change. What the law that they're looking for to find? So now we prefer the current president to be re-voted to be the next president of the people of Liberia because he's doing well. There are a lot of things that they not set in the country that he try to set it. People try to blame 175-year-old probably on someone who just a president for 5 years. It will never be that. Change is a process. It's a gradual thing. So we are on the red trajectory of change. So we cannot change what we are.
It is the fourth election of the country after restoration of democracy in Liberia. In deepening democracy, the Economic Community of West African States has offered the necessary logistical and human resource for the election. The streets of Monrovia are excited about the upcoming election. One thing or one message that is being sent across by every person I've spoken to so far is that there is need for peace in this country. The country would not want to go back to the days of civil war. For Joy News, Nana Ojima reporting.
Here in the studios of Joy News, my name is Elton Brobe, and that's it for today's edition of Africa Connect. We'll be back same time next week. Until then, have a good evening and stay safe.